All right. Well, hello, and welcome, everyone. It's great to be back. Missed you all last week. Great to be back here. And thanks to Linda and Natalie for holding down the fort. So thank you. Thank you. And today is May 11th, 2021. This is episode 104. And today we're going to be taking a look at trait number 23. And we're going to take a look at trait number 23 in quality 3. So we're going to take a look at individual assimilation that attracts attention. So individual assimilation that attracts attention is what we're going to be taking a look at today. So before we get started, let's say a quick hello to our panel. So Linda, welcome. Great to have you here.
Thank you. And happy to be here. And yeah, we had a blast last time, but we also did miss you. So happy to have you here.
Great. Well, thank you so much again for holding down the fort last week. And Natalie. Hey, Natalie, welcome.
Yay. Yeah, we had a blast. It was very much fun, but it's better to be with 3 or 4 or yeah. But we had great participation. So inviting you all to participate again today if you want to.
Yes, yes, we love participation. So, please feel free to raise your hand and participate by typing into the chat as well, and look forward to exploring today. And my name is Karen Sherwood, and again, welcome to everyone who's in our Zoom room. Welcome to those who are on Facebook Live, and welcome to everyone who's watching via the recording as well. So let's dive in. So we are in May, and the theme of May is we're really shifting into this purpose fulfilled through form. We started with that last week, and so it's really about getting individual attention through communication and action to manifest in form. So last week, we took a look at the driver in trait number 2, right? The direction of self, the receptive. Then today, we're going to take a look at assimilation. It's very interesting because the week before last, before the 2, we took a look at the 24. That is also in the individual knowing circuitry. So we have this individual knowing sandwich, if you will, with the 24 before moving into the 2, and then the 23 for today. So again, today we're going to take a look at assimilation, the elimination of intolerance, and the acceptance of diversity. So we're going to take a look at that today. Next week, we're going to take a look at then making a contribution. So we're going to be staying in that individual stream in leading by example. And then we'll take a look at contemplation. At the end of this month, I am now awareness that transforms understanding into right action. So again, we are moving into this period of this purpose being fulfilled through form. You can see we talked about it last week as well. We have the 36 now in what's hidden. So it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds. We also have the 36 and the 35 defined. So we do have this strength of the experiencer defined. So crisis and progress happens to be in communication in the 35 right now. We also have the 23 not only in our conscious core essence, we also have the 23 as well in the driving force, right? So there is a lot of individual insight that's there to be communicated. Again, as we take a look at purpose fulfilled through form, we're going to be focusing on a lot of basically all of the traits that are there in communication and action. So here we're taking a look at the individual's trait of the 23. And one of the things that you will notice is that the 2343 is defined. So they are in opposition in the wheel, meaning that the 43 is on the opposite side, or the Yeah, that the 43 is on the opposite side. I don't have it here in this image. And so it defines this particular strength as well. This is the strength of efficiency. So things are efficient during this time. And again, if during this time, the 23 brings the 43, and that also creates that definition as well. So interesting times that we're in. So let's take a look at what this assimilation is all about. So the trait 23 of assimilation, it is the voice of I know. So as we were talking about with communication, communication and action, all of these are traits that are in communication and action. So this is the voice of I know. And if we take a look at what is the definition of assimilation, what does assimilation mean? It's the process of taking in and fully understanding information or ideas. So this week you may be experiencing, taking in and understanding information in a different way. Information that's mutative, that's different, that's individual. This is the awareness and understanding which leads to the acceptance of diversity. This is the unique insight that opens the door to mutation. This is inspired inner knowing that is translated into language. So this inner knowing that we can then speak, that is translated into language, and it's cutting through mental intolerance. So we can see that this strength is connected to conceptualization, right? So it is speaking what we know mentally, and it's cutting through mental intolerance in order to allow new ways of thinking to take hold. Right. So that's one of the things you may be experiencing too, is, cutting through to new ways of thinking and insights that are potentially different and transformative. With insights and things that are potentially different and transformative, it does require that you communicate their essence clearly. This is also a projected trait, a projected strength, meaning that it needs to be recognized and invited. So timing is everything. And here's a few other words that I think are really interesting connected to assimilation: amorality, splitting apart, and genius to freak. So I would love to hear, Linda and Natalie, any insights or anything that you see with trait 23. And of course, any of you that are here live in our Zoom room, if you have trait 23, or if you have this particular strength of the 4323, the strength of efficiency, we would love to hear from you as well. So Linda, would you like to start?
Yes, I don't have this trait myself, but currently I work with some clients that do have the 23 and also the 43. And what I really notice with them is that they have unique insights, but that they are really struggling with the timing and the invitation. And they just, when I tell them about that it is a projected strength and they need to have a public that is open to what they have to say, they say, aha, okay, that's why. But it's amazing also to hear the how do you say that, it's there in a pulse. And that they say, sometimes I don't even know what I say. But when I say it, it's spot on. It's really mutative. It brings something new. And that it's really an asset. It's really something to treasure. But also, it works in a pulse. So it can also be like, last time I was able to say things spot on, and now it's not working. Why am I not able to speak in that same way? So it's I feel like it's such a profound trait, but also because it really needs to be invited. you have to be patient, and you have to lean back. And last time we talked about individual traits. It's about surrendering to the pulse, because it's in inner knowing. You never know when it's gonna show up, but suddenly it's there, and you really have to be comfortable with it. And I can imagine in an open function, undefined function of communication and action, and maybe wanting to, or being afraid that you will not be heard. This is a trait that will cause a little bit of trouble. Yeah. But I feel like this has such power. That's it's amazing. Yeah,
exactly. And really great examples too. Yeah, thank you so much, Linda. Moxie got let in.
Hey, Moxie.
you locked her out, but
it says hi.
She's an escape artist.
I don't know if you could hear her purr on the microphone earlier.
She missed you.
Yeah. So she had to make her appearance here. How about for you, Natalie?
Yeah, I was kind of distracted because we do have somebody in our Facebook that has the 23 in her design, in her unconscious core essence. So I invited her to come over. So Madeline, if you want to. Madeline is in my course in certification course. So it would be fun to have you live. And otherwise, if you could share your experience in the chat of the Facebook, that would be wonderful. Hey, Maxi, Lisa says. So yeah, it's an interesting trait and an interesting strength. And when you have the 23, it's one of the three strengths that actually is opposite in the wheel. So you find it often that people have it either in their life work or in their future and past direction. And then they have the full strength of this, genius to freak breakthrough insights, sharing about more efficiency. So I do not have it personally in my design, and I really liked what Linda shared in how her clients experience this. I do have a few students almost every course that have it, right? Since it is more common to have the opposite, right? I actually don't know. So I don't know. I actually wasn't really paying attention to every single word that Linda said, but what I wanted to say, and please say if it's already mentioned, that to be able to share about it, you need to practice prophecy. Is that what it's how you say? So to the thing you are aware of, your inner knowing is bizarre or strange for the collective and the tribal people, so the world around you, right? And people will mostly not get you the first time around. So 1, don't feel bummed. 2, wait for the correct timing, of course. And 3, it takes time and practice to be or maybe not practice or thinking about it, whatever, to be able to share about it, to be able to how do you put that in good words?
And what I notice with clients related to these times that we are in is that there are clients that are really pondering about what's happening in the world. And then they have this unique insights, and they are going to share that with their family or friends, and they get rejected big time. And then they are perceived as a freak. So to me, that's just what I notice with some clients. It's really, it can really bite you when you are not invited, and you are not able to speak out clearly. Just as Natalie stated, you have to really be able to choose the right words. But I also sense that some clients, they have such unique insights that they feel like everybody needs to know this. Now I understand why this and this, but that's in their inner knowing, taking in all of their perspectives, etc., and the people that are in a different lane with all the different opinions, what's happening right now, they are taken away. They are thinking, you what? But then there's such an emotion involved, because you want, or they want to, to do what's best for their family or friends. So that's what I notice as well in these times.
Yeah. And it can be very difficult. Maria, I don't know if you would like to speak. I would love to hear from you and your insights. She has this, and she's an innovator, and said sometimes it's hard, and it is hard, especially as an innovator as well. I'll allow you to talk if you want to say something. We would love to hear from you.
Maria didn't share. Okay. Yeah. Hi, Maria.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you for sharing.
Well, it's strange, because it's hard to know that someone understands what we are dealing,
Yeah.
There are not so many people who recognize that the uniqueness and the differentiation that as a manifestor, I also puts people against you. So it's like a challenge that you have to do every time, to wait. I'm an emotional manifestor, so I have to wait for that clarity, emotional clarity, to manifest the insights. And when you are dealing and you are trying to deal all along with everything that is happening now, it's more challenge, definitely,
Yes.
And sometimes it's not like you feel you are depressed or you don't trust yourself. It's like more for me, how am I going to put better words in what is my insight to be able to impact the best way I can. So it's I'm 55 years old, so there are some things that are definitely sure for me. So I know that I have to do the process, and the challenge of doing the process with everything going around, it's amazing, truly. And what can I say?
I'm really curious how long you've been studying human design or BG5, and if it made a big difference for you as an innovator to understand this particular strength and the need to wait for clarity, if it made a big difference for you.
Well, I started to know human design when I was 50, but definitely all my life I felt that differentiation about being a manifestor that I didn't know that I was, So it's more like a recognition when I was 50. Then I started studying, and it's like about it. The more you learn, for me, I felt that I already knew inside me, but I didn't know where to put the things in the boxes,
There are no boxes. It's new boxes.
Definitely, it's new boxes. With the BG5, what it's interesting is like I try to make like a parallel, like a bridge that I'm used to it, because I've My oldest daughter has cerebral palsy, and I always make bridges between what's the incapacity that she has physically and emotional and cognitively and everything, as cerebral palsy person, between what it is and what we have to implement and use that emotional ability in organizations. I don't know if it's my freak words are coming up, but it's like a parallel. It's bridge. What what you can serve, what they can serve as a provocative way to understand myself. So when you deal with all these emotional and more energetic or I don't want to call it spiritual because it's not like a religious issue. It's energetic, definitely. And you make like a synchronism, and you uh, can put it like in a flow. My incarnation cross is uncertainty also, so it was very very good to with the BG5 understand what this uncertainty was so pleasant to me in my life. And I work in a commodity company for 25 years, and I left it half a year before now, so before COVID. And I'm still, you know, uh, not knowing what I'm going to do now. But definitely, I know that this uncertainty has given me this half a year, almost the certainty to be uncertain.
Yeah.
Can you understand that?
I love that.
Great. Yeah.
So, and with BG5, I try always to, but it's too late here in Portugal. Now it's 9:30, and it's the time well we finish to have dinner, and with her I'm alone with my husband and my other kid, but it's it's almost these kinds of stuff and for me, so it's very hard to be here every Tuesday, but I try always to see what you are talking about,
Well, thank you so much for sharing, and thank you so much for joining us. I love how, as I was listening to you talk, saying what I know, it's like a really beautiful example of what this particular trait is all about, and what you were talking about with your daughter and cerebral palsy, and taking a look at, it's kind of this assimilation of how things are running in parallel. And so I think it's a really beautiful example of exactly what this trait is all about.
Yeah. So for you to understand, that's it. It's like making parallels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So sorry, I cannot put my face. I would like to put my face, but I can't. It's just a picture.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, we'll have to figure out how to do that in the, we may need to set something else up in the back office to be able to do that, because I'd love to be great to see everybody's faces too when they're sharing.
Well, you have a beautiful picture, so.
Well, it's like I decided to, how can I put the impact in a picture, and it's a professional picture that I took, because in the LinkedIn it's very important, and everybody now then came COVID, and it's important of people to understand that if you look nice, it's not because you are beauty, because everybody is beauty. It's how you put yourself. What can you show from yourself, from that power that you have,
I love it. Love it.
And everybody can do it, and it's not expensive, it's not nothing, it's just express yourself and you can do it.
I love it.
Interesting.
Thank you so much, Maria.
Sorry.
I love it. Love it. Beautiful.
I will try to see you more on Tuesdays.
Great. Thank you so much. Was there something you wanted to add, Natalie?
Well, that we have someone else.
Oh.
Wonderful.
So we have Madeline, advisor. So I'd love to invite Madeline to also share about your 2343 in your life work.
Yeah, hi. I love a lot of what Maria said, and it sounded very familiar. And I have the incarnation cross of explanation. So when I'm, so this has been kind of I find myself wanting and desiring to explain, but also having a lot, I always describe it as having a lot of blank stares at me when I was younger, when I was trying to explain things that seemed so clear to me, and I knew them in my soul, and I was trying to explain them. And that's why I just wrote, I felt like I was way more on the freak end of the genius to freak scale. And I think, it's been what I've noticed since I've probably it's probably been 6 or 7 years that I've known about the trait and the strength. And it's made me so much more quiet in a waiting kind of quiet. And it's, I find those times of just talking and talking and hoping that my mind can come up with the right words that'll make this concept connect with people. I find those times are fewer and far between. But yeah, I think it's this feeling of I know, but I can't communicate it was probably half of my life. I know this, but I can't, but people won't understand that I know, is the feeling that I've had a lot.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I can relate to that as well. I don't have the 23, but I do have the 43 on the other side. And so it's not connected. So, having these ideas that, kind of feeling like nobody's going to get it or nobody's going to understand it, or feeling like it's way ahead of its time. And I think, this is part of what this strength, as well as this trait of the 23 is all about too, is kind of, you have this individual insight that's kind of beyond, and it's sometimes difficult to explain or describe.
Yeah. And I think it's, I'm just noticing that this Maria saying the world is not always ready for my insights and inner knowing. I think that is such a more gracious way to look at it and understand it. I always felt like, I need to be more clever, more concise. I need to work harder was my thought. So I became a writer because it was the only way I could much more easily do this and communicate my I know in my writing.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful expression of being able to express this genius is in writing.
Yeah, I find it a little easier sometimes than speaking. Sometimes but I think, the longer, the older, the longer, it does feel a little bit easier.
Yeah. Wow. Really beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. This is really fun to have those insights from those of you who have this particular trait or this strength. So thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Great to hear. Thanks.
Yeah. And I don't know if any of you have the trait 3, the 23 in quality 3. I should say quality 3. Sorry about that. Quality 3, which is individuality. Quality 3 is the pioneer. It's the independent expression that is not by its nature detrimental to others. And so if we take a look at what the elevation is, it's the individual expression which attracts attention but not threat, vitality and personal power that can engender jealousy but not threat. Now, the challenge on the other side is the freak, right? The individual expression that attracts suspicion and threat. An individual mysteriously that attracts active suspicion and threat. And so I put this picture here because if we take a look at it, you can look at it sort of in two ways, right? You can take a look at this sort of individual expression that looks really fun and looks really exciting. It's not a threat, right? But it's, it's something, but it definitely attracts attention. You can look at it that way. Or you can look at the same picture and see a complete freak, and it could be very threatening. You see all the fire shooting out from the back, right? So it could be a threat as well. And so again, it just, it is that expression. This is really, in a sense, that genius to freak, where the expression, right, the individual expression that's not a threat, or again, that individual expression which could potentially bring attention to itself and be a threat. If we take a look at what the trait is today, it's actually in. It is, see the little arrow that's pointing up right here. So it actually is in its elevation. So it is in the elevation of attracting attention, but not threat. I'm just curious to know if there's anyone who has it in quality 3.
We do have Annika, and but I don't know, Annika, if you want to share. Yeah, there you are.
Yes. I do have it, apparently. I'm just finding this out right now.
In your conscious driving force, and you also have the 23 in the 5th quality in another life aspect. Yeah.
In Jupiter, in my design side, yes.
Yeah.
So I guess I can associate this with how people treat me and when they meet me. I'm always a shock to them, like I blow their mind or something, and then I don't know, I get the weirdest reactions from people. And in communication, when I do presentations and things for class, I felt like, oh, it's the medium. I just need to say everything in a video instead, so that when they watch it, that it's coherent for them to understand. When I was growing up, I didn't really speak that much. I was very reserved, and then I started articulating a little bit more and more. But it just takes a lot of time. Like, I won't allow myself to assert myself and do anything anymore. So I don't know if it's just this knowledge that has said don't do anything until you're asked, and or if it's really like energetically, I just don't have my cross is contagion, but I haven't been able to use that at all because nobody asked me to do anything, or nobody asked my opinion about anything. But mainly the topics I think about are things that other people do not think about. So it could be just topic related interest with this trait, because it kind of keeps you focused on everybody and trying to get everybody to see what's going on in this real world, and bringing up things that they haven't thought about, and bringing up analysis over things that they're just weird. They're weirded out about it. It feels like I'm playing a game of only the players trying not to change and trying not to evolve and trying not to do anything the better way. It's just, that's the players I have in my life. So I kind of just keep it to the back until I have a full-fledged plan, and then once I have a plan, then I can articulate that. But it's very much a shut up Annika kind of thing.
Yeah. And I think the more, the more you work with your design, the more you experiment with your design, the more you do get the recognition. I mean, it's so lovely to have you here and present, and what you just shared was brilliant. And I love the fact that you are looking at things and bringing up topics and things that may be beyond what people get, that genius to freak. And I think when the timing is correct, you have this natural ability to attract attention, and you may attract more attention than you actually recognize or realize as well.
Yeah. I've seen it be negative attentions, or not really positive in a good way for me. So sometimes I just retract or retreat.
Yeah.
That like just like I'd rather me be in control of the perceptions I have over other people. So I feel like I need a master plan. Like I need to be so prepared in advance, and I know what they're receiving. I know what they're getting, and I'm proud of it. Once I'm proud of it, then I can let it out in the world, and then they seem to be very receptive in that way. But it just takes so much just to get the scope of what's going on and the scope of having to put it all together, and finding different mediums that can attribute to that when I have access to very little resources. So it's a challenge for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the things that you've seen, and heard throughout our discussion in taking a look at trait 23 is that sometimes it can be painful, right? It can be painful to be seen as a freak, or people not accepting your ideas. And that's part of what individuality is. People often don't like change. They don't like things that are different. They want things to stay the same. They want the status quo. And that's not what the 23 is about, right? It is about bringing change. It is about bringing forth something different. So really, thank you for sharing that so much, Annika. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, and thank you, Natalie, for the invitation. That was wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
I love it.
Yeah, wonderful. And Lisa is sharing, maybe your motto can be saying to people, are you ready for a breakthrough? Yeah, that's a great suggestion, Lisa.
Exactly. And I thought this was brilliant too. I don't know if you know the comedian George Carlin. He is a comedian, and he has trait 23-3. And he also has the life work theme of explanation. So ever the outsider, you are constantly explaining yourself or your unique concepts, principles, and insights in order to integrate them into another person's revolutionary and analytical process. And I think he really fits into what we just talked about here too, where, attracting attention, but not threat. Because, some of the things that he notices are really spot on, but he does it in a joking manner that people take it in versus reject it. So he's considered by many to be the greatest stand-up comedian of all time, and he puts out 14 stand-up comedy specials for HBO in his career. And he was the first host on Saturday Night Live in 1975. And he was humorously awarded the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor in 2008. And his humor, if you haven't listened to it, is kind of dry, but very also sort of direct and to the point, and very kind of cutting, where you go like, oh, wow. To some of the things that he talks about with, society and stuff and all kinds of things. So
now I suddenly I recognize him.
Yes.
I've seen him. He is, throwing it out there, just brushing the public with his ideas and his things. And yeah, he's funny. He's really funny, but also very shocking, very.
Yeah. But also very, in a sense, the very sort of truthful in a way too, that is in kind of a shocking realization, but he's doing it through comedy, which then makes it more makes it non-threatening.
Yeah.
Which I find really fascinating.
Yeah, it's actually a blast. People are like, they're laughing their asses off, and probably at the same time thinking, you know what? He actually got a point,
Exactly. Yeah. And Lisa was saying, I think I saw him speaking about religion. And so he speaks about sometimes sort of taboo type of topics as well. But again, he does it through humor. So it is much more accepted. It's fascinating.
I don't know, Maria Ringblom, if you would like to share, if I can invite you to share as a mental projector, a mental advisor, having this as your life work as well.
Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm not. I'm just putting you out there, Maria. If you want to speak, you don't have to, but you can. And with oh yeah,
I'm unmuted now.
Yes.
Yes, it's fascinating. Yes, I have it because I've got 449 in conscious sun and earth.
Yeah,
and
you
then
have it. Yeah.
43. So I've got the theme of explanation also. Were you asking about my purpose?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's so interesting because I'm 70 and my whole life has been about finding my life purpose. And what I'm doing now, I'm writing a book together with my cat in spirit, Tiger, and it's all about how he helped me, and he's still helping me, guiding me in finding my life purpose, because I really found it through writing this book with him. I can, like the other lady, I find it much easier to express my my freakness in genius and freakiness in writing than in speaking.
Yeah.
Yes,
because for me it's so easy. I get all those insights, that inner knowing. I love it. But then I suddenly connect so many dots when I'm speaking with somebody, and it's often too much for a person, and it's too much for me to wait for an invitation. So often people just look at me, and especially now there is so much division and so many. I'm always into something very new paradigm, like just now it's German new medicine, which hardly anybody knows about. And it's the same with my book, my how I look at animals and what happened, because literally my cat chose the way to transition, to awaken me to who I was and to my purpose.
Wonderful.
I love that.
And as I did too, I started my human design training with Richard Beaumont in Ilminster, and now continue. But in the meantime, I've been through Gene Keys and Soul Contract, and also BG5. I love your way of addressing humans, speaking about human design, because it's so clear. I've been also studying a bit with Karen Carey Parker and with Chetan Parkin, who's also got the theme of explanation. So I'm like learning from several places. If I was younger, I would have gone for BG5, but I don't think I'm going to get involved much in business.
You can always join us in BG5 Live.
Yes, exactly. I love you. Yeah.
Exactly.
I have a friend who's studying with you. Her name is Mike also.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. And you can always use BG5 in a personal way as well. Again, our focus is on business, but again, it is also about integrating the language and the approach so that it's more palatable to the just average person. And so sometimes it makes it easier to communicate it as well.
Yes, absolutely agree. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much, Maria.
Thank you very much. It was quite a surprise.
Yes. Oh, I love this interaction. This is really, really beautiful. Thank you, each of you. And I'm going to kind of bring things around, and then we'll wrap up by just taking a look at what should we look at for this next upcoming week. So once again, if you're new to BG5 and human design, you can go to our website at bg5businessinstitute.com. You can download a personal chart, and you can take a look to see if you have a particular trait or a particular strength that we're looking at. So this is actually my chart, so you can see I have the 43, but I don't have the 23 here. And again, you can take a look at the trait of the day, also by visiting our website, or take a look at past BG5 lives, both in our free resource library, but also on YouTube as well. And we are just starting courses. We've had courses start the next couple of weeks. So if you're interested in any of our courses and you have some additional questions, please feel free to reach out to us as well. Would love to invite you to study and be a part of the BG5 community. All right, so let's wrap everything up. And one, I wanted to see if there was any other insights that anyone wrote that you would like to share, Natalie. And then also, Natalie, what do you see as far as what to pay attention to or look out for this coming week?
Yeah, so I'd love to share one sharing that Lisa did earlier. That we didn't address. So she's saying she doesn't have it herself, but it must be very challenging to find the words to express this strength. And her aunt has it as her in her core essence and installed as she spoke when trying to explain her knowing. And I got the impression it was a knee-jerk reaction to not always being understood. Yet at her work, she was highly sought after as a teacher. So about the explanation. So it takes courage and a backbone to stand for your truth. But I think it's really important, and we heard it said several times from those that are here today. This individual energy and maybe potentially, especially that strength, being mental, right, and thinking about the world. We are in this changing world, and it was actually in one of my classes that someone asked me, are people with a lot of individual energy the first to see things show up, the first to notice the changes, the first to? I said, well, you may, I didn't even think about it before, but and that's actually what all of you shared today as well. So watch the individuals. They are here to bring the change. And they are the first to know and feel that, the background frequency being changing and going to 2027 and it being about the individual and the individual knowing and standing in your own power. So that said, for this week, I don't know. No. I actually really like the image that you had for the 23 in the third quality. So take a look if you see some freaky things riding down the road or whatever, right, this week, because things may be happening that you go like, and it will be an interesting week for sure.
Thank you, Natalie. How about for you, Linda?
Well, I loved what Natalie shared, and I also love this picture. It's really telling everything that's written down about quality 3. I also can see like it may be crashing because it's a third line and experiencing it's not going the right way. So I love it, but I feel like especially in these times, we need these unique insights because we have never experienced things like this before, and we are going to make a shift if we want it or not, to more individuality. So I feel like enjoy this background frequency and be surprised about your inner knowing and your inner truth about yourself and what's going on in the world, and maybe get a little flavor of what is to come, and also be patient because sometimes you don't know and suddenly you know. And when it comes down, what we say every week, follow your decision-making strategy, to also know the timing, wait for an invitation, and maybe you will be surprised about the genius things that you may share this week. So I'm
brilliant.
excited to hear what other people are sharing, and maybe myself as well. I don't know. We're going to experience it.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Beautiful, Linda. I was also thinking, because it creates definition, right? If you do have conceptualization, right? This is conceptualization here. If you have conceptualization undefined, you may have a pressure to be certain. And so just pay attention to that. I've noticed that for myself. This definition, I can feel it more in your headspace, right? This need to be certain. So just be aware of that. Just be conscious of that. And again, just listen to, what are the things that are coming out that you see, in the world, with people that you're talking with, that may be like, what? Completely freakish, or things that you really enjoy, right? Or things that are like, oh my goodness, I never saw things that way. I never had that perspective. And so we have the opportunity to look at this genius and freak. So you'll probably see geniuses and freaks all around.
Lovely world.
So enjoy. And as Linda said again, always it comes down to following your decision-making strategy. Well, it has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you, everyone. It's so great. Thank you to everyone that shared. It makes it so rich to hear your insights, your sharing, how you experience this particular trait. So I, again, just really appreciate each of you that shared and stepped up. Appreciate Natalie and Linda for being here as well, and all of your insights. And look forward to seeing you all next week, when we'll take a look at contribution. So we'll be talking about the 8, again, another individual trait, and it's the trait of contribution, about making a difference. So that's what we'll take a look at next week. All right, everyone, it has been our absolute pleasure, and we will see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.